Good morning, kids! Welcome to our English 4, Quarter 4, Week 8 lesson. In our previous lesson, you've learned to write a news report using the given facts. And how do we write a news report? Okay, we write it through the 5 W's and the H. So, a good news report should be able to answer the WH questions. And what are these WH questions? We have the what, the when, the where, the why, and the H is the how. Okay, and the other one is the use of inverted pyramid. So a writer puts the most important facts at the beginning and works down from there with the use of inverted pyramid. So the first paragraph should contain enough information to give the reader a good overview of the entire story. Okay? So this time, kids, you're going to learn how to write or compose an editorial. For the past weeks, you have learned to distinguish the different types of journalistic writing, such as news report, opinion article, feature article, and news article, right? So in addition, you also learned the difference between the fact and opinion statements. So your knowledge about these lessons, kids, will help you to understand how to write an article about your opinion on a current issue. So there are different sections of a newspaper, and one of those is where you can read an editorial. Unlike news report, which is written based on facts, an editorial is usually written based from one's opinion. So today, kids, you will learn to compose an editorial using your personal opinions. Let's start with the question, what is an editorial? So an editorial is an article that presents a newspaper opinion on an issue. It reflects the majority vote of the editorial board, the governing body of the newspaper made up of editors and business managers. It is usually unsigned, so much in the same manner of a lawyer. Editorial writers build on an argument and try to persuade readers to think the same way they do. So, on the other hand, editorial refers to a leading article that expresses the editor's ideas and explains the issue at hand. Okay, just because it is an opinion piece doesn't mean that the author can put their thoughts on paper without conducting research and considering facts. Okay, so to build the argument, kids, and persuade readers, writers or editorial writers must present authentic evidence, okay, that will support their opinion. So editorials are meant to influence public opinion, promote critical thinking, and sometimes cause people to take action on an issue. So in essence, an editorial is an opinionated news story. So the aim of an editorial, kids, is to present an issue clearly and propose a solution to get rid of it. Authors need to address the people currently facing the issue and tell them what can be done to deal with the situation. So if necessary, the author must speak to the government, asking them to take appropriate measures to help combat the situation. So considering the research and effort that goes into writing an editorial, it is safe to say that they are similar to a research paper. Okay? Like what I've told you a while ago, it must be supported with authentic evidences. So this time, let us take a look at the components of editorial. So first, it should have an introduction, body, and conclusion like other news stories. So when we say introduction, you have to start the editorial with a unique and catchy quotation, question, statistic, or any other sentence relevant to the topic that will help you grab the reader's attention. Also, you have to present your argument at this stage. Okay, what about for the body? The body of your editorial piece, kids, should explain the issue at hand objectively without any trace of biasness. Discuss each and every aspect of your topic. Address the 5 W's and H, the what, the when, the where, the who, the why, and the how. So you start it by addressing your opposition, people who have dissimilar views. You can also highlight the positive aspects of the opposition as long as they are facts. Okay? It is supported with evidence. So next, you need to refute the opposing side. You provide strong reasons and evidence that can help with the credibility of your stance. So when addressing a problem, you also need to propose a valid and applicable solution. And the last one is the conclusion. So end the editorial with a strong, thought-provoking statement. Your reader must get a sense of closure and completeness from the ending, like any other news stories. Okay? Next, another component is an objective explanation of the issue, especially complex issues. Yes. So you must do researches. Next, a timely news angle. We also have opinions from the opposing viewpoint that directly refute the same issues the writer addresses. We also have opinions of the writer delivered in a professional manner. Yes, of course, it's very important. Good editorials engage issues, not personalities. And alternative solutions to the problems or issue being criticized. Anyone can gripe about the problem, but a good editorial should take a proactive approach to making the situation better by using constructive criticisms. Take note of that. And giving a solid and concise conclusion that powerfully summarizes the writer's opinion. So give it some punch. So these are the components of an editorial. So do not forget the very important parts of editorial: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Okay? So this time, let us proceed to the different types or the 4 types of editorial wheel. So number 1 is explain or interpret. So editors often use these editorials to explain the way the newspaper covered a sensitive or controversial subject. So school newspapers may explain no school rules or a particular student body effort like a food drive. Criticize. So these editorials constructively criticize actions, so decisions or situations, while providing solutions to the problem identified. So immediate purpose is to get readers to see the problem, not the solution. Number 3 is persuade. Editorial of the persuasion aim to immediately see the solution, not the problem. From the first paragraph, readers will be encouraged to take a specific positive action. Political endorsements are good examples of editorials of persuasion. And the fourth one is praise. These editorials commend people and organizations for something done well. So they are not as common as the other 3. Okay, so we have the explain or interpret, criticize, persuade, and praise as the 4 types of editorial wheels. Then we have here the different tips on writing an editorial. So number 1, pick a significant topic that has a current news angle and would interest readers. Okay. You also have to collect information and facts, include objective reporting, and of course, do not forget to do research. 3. State your opinion briefly in the fashion of a thesis statement. Explain the issue objectively as a reporter and would tell why the situation is important. And number 5, give opposing viewpoint first with its quotations and facts. refute the other side, and develop using your case, using your packed details, figures, and opinion, and apart the other side logics. Concede a point of the opposition. So they must have the same good points you can acknowledge that would make you look rational. Okay, not bias. And number 8, repeat key phrases to reinforce an idea into the reader's mind. So dapat meron silang matandaan. Okay? Matatak sa isip nila. So you have to repeat the key phrases. 9, give a realistic solution or solutions to the problem that goes beyond common knowledge. Encourage critical thinking and proactive reaction. And number 10, wrap it up in a concluding punch that restates your opening remark like a thesis statement. Okay? You have to make your reader get a sense of closure and completeness from the ending. So, wrap it up in a concluding punch. Okay, let's have here an example of an editorial. So, can you see the picture? So, here's the article. A June 12 thought, respect flag rights. A flag ceremony, wherever it be a flag raising or a flag retreat, is sacred. Therefore, it should be observed with all solemnity and sacredness a Filipino citizen can muster. The national anthem, pambansang awit, like the national flag, should be treated with ceremonial respect. So, in this anniversary of the Declaration of Independence in Kawit in 1988, it is perhaps timely to remind all and to behave during flag ceremonies. Sad to say, many students during the Monday morning flag raising ceremonies, instead of standing at attention while singing the national anthem and while reciting the patriotic pledge, the Panatang Makabayan, move around, play, and have completely disregarding what is going on. It is for these reasons that we are calling the attention of all teachers, especially the social studies teachers, to give more emphasis on teaching values, love of country, respect for the flag, veneration of the heroes, and proper behavior during flag ceremonies. If flag ceremonies cannot be held properly, why then do we hold them at all? Okay, this is an example of an editorial. Now let us analyze what you have read. So, similar to stories, an editorial has also a title. Why? To give hint to readers what its content is and an author. So the one who write it, that's the author. So there are instances that an editorial article has no title and the author is not mentioned. But in this example, there's a title, right? So what's the title? A June 12 thought, respect flag rights. So the paragraph inside the rectangle presents the introduction of the editorial, where you can write the explanation of the topic or issue. Those paragraphs with underline give you the body of the editorial, where you can present your opposition, pull in other facts, give your stand regarding the issue by supporting it with reasons from strong to strongest order. While the paragraph inside an oval gives the conclusion, where you can express solutions to the problem. So you can persuade or challenge the reader to be informed on this part. Okay, so the first paragraph is the introduction. The paragraph with underlines is the body. And the last one, the paragraph inside the oval, is what we call the conclusion. So this is an example of an editorial. Okay? This is how you write an editorial. You have the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Now let us do learning task number 1. So you're going to rewrite the editorial statements in paragraph form in their proper order. So we have number 1, 2, 3, and 4. In this task, you will be given 10 minutes to finish the task. Okay? Go. Okay, let's check your answer. So the title of the article is The Way of Most Desks. Okay, so let's have the introduction. For the introduction, we have student judges who inspected every room in connection with Operation Cleanliness found out that most of the desks had scratches and or ink spots. Okay, so we also have the body. One can hardly write on them without a thick sheet of paper for a pad. One can hardly write on them without a thick sheet of paper for a pad. Outside the classrooms, some desks are placed for the students to sit on. Students really take advantage of them. They sit on top of the desk and place their muddy shoes on the seats instead. And the conclusion is, when the 220 new desks for Pasig Line will be made available for the students' use, will they end up the way most students' desks go? Okay, so that's the answer for learning task number 1. I hope you guys did it right. Okay, so let's have learning task number 2. In this task, you are going to identify which type of editorial is being described in each number. So you're just going to choose your answers from the box. So we have the praise, criticize, persuade, and explain. Okay, let's do together statement number 1. From the first paragraph, readers will be encouraged to take a specific positive action. So, what is this? The answer is persuade. Yes, persuade. Number 2. Immediate purpose is to get readers to see the problem, not the solution. So, the answer is criticize. Number 3. This type of editorial is not commonly used by writers. So, what is this? It's the phrase. Okay? 4. This editorial gives readers knowledge and ideas about a particular topic or issue. So the answer is explain. And the last one, the main purpose is to commend people or organization for a good action done. And that is phrase. Very good, okay? I hope you got 5 over 5 in this learning task. Okay, so this time, you're going to read an editorial article presented on the screen, and then later you're going to ask the questions. The title is Attitude Towards Study. We are in a school because we want to learn. Our study is for our own benefit and not to accommodate someone else. As such, we have to relate it to our own aims or ambitions in life. We should not think of study merely in terms of quizzes, recitations, and homework, term papers, and reports. Putting evaluation upon it in terms of 5, 10, or 20 years from now will give it more meaning to us. The facts, ideas, and principles we acquire now are the stuff with which we will do our thinking in the future. Let's remember too that how we learn is sometimes more important than what we learn. An efficient working method will serve us through life. But many of the things we learn will just be forgotten. So being systematic about the study will do a lot. Habit then comes to our aid. With just a few weeks to go before classes end, we hope these few reminders will result to a better attitude towards study. So the first question is, what is the title of the editorial? So it's a title. Attitude towards study. Okay, that's it. Number 2 is the author of the article mentioned in the article? No. Okay, the author is not mentioned. Okay, question number 3. Does the conclusion suggest solution to the given issue? So what's the last paragraph? With just a few weeks to go before classes end, we hope these few reminders will result to a better attitude towards the study. So, does it suggest solution? No. Okay? Next. For number 4, does the body include accurate information relating to the topic? Yes or no? Yes, of course. And number 5, does the first paragraph ensure to include the most important information? The 5 W's and H, yes or no? Yes. Okay? So thank you, kids. I hope you were also able to answer the questions I have thrown just a while ago. So this time, let's do learning task number 4. So for learning task number 4, you're going to use the editorial outline I'll be flashing on the screen later, and then try to write a simple editorial about the current situation that we are experiencing. Give your own title for your editorial. So use the guided steps in composing the component of your article. So we have this. Globally, everything has stopped. Projects have been delayed. Workplaces closed and schools shut down. The world seems to have ground to a halt because of the novel coronavirus. A year had passed and still we are on the same situation. Back to school during pandemic. Are you favor or not of having again the face-to-face classes? Steps take. Determine the concern that you have. This is your claim, whether you are favor or in favor of it. 2. Gather facts by observations you have made. Your own experiences, of course, or facts that you have researched. 3. Think clearly about your claim. Will it make sense to other people? Think about your conclusion. Make your claim strong to persuade your reader. Okay, so here is the outline. Look at it carefully. So we have the title. You write your own title and then provide the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Write your own introduction, your body, and then your conclusion. So I have prepared here a rubric for this task. So for the introduction, you will be given 4 points if it states the general idea in an interesting way and grabs the reader's attention. 3, if it states the general idea of the paragraph. 2, if it does not relate to the rest of the paragraph. And 1, if the introduction is missing. Of course, I know you will not forget that. Okay? Next, supporting details. I will give you 4 points if 2 or more supporting sentences that relate to the topic is evident. 3 points, 2 supporting sentences that will relate to the topic is evident. 2 supporting sentences but do not relate to the topic. Okay, and 1 if 1 sentence or less if it does not relate to the topic. Punctuation, 4 points if all sentences end with the correct punctuation. 3 points if most sentences have the correct punctuation. 2 points if few sentences have end punctuation, and 1 point if sentences do not end with punctuation mark. Capitalization, 4 points if all sentences begin with a capital letter and all proper nouns are capitalized as well. 3 points, all sentences begin with a capital letter. 2 points, few sentences begin with a capital letter, and 1 point if sentences do not begin with a capital letter. And the last one, the message, which is very, very important here. I'll give you 4 points if the message is clear and concise. 3 points if the message makes sense but is not completely clear. 2 points if the writer makes some sense but still needs improvement, and 1 point if the writing does not make any sense. So that's it. So this is how you will be graded, kids. Okay? You will be given 10 minutes to do this activity. Go! So this time, to recall the content of this lesson, let us complete the paragraph by writing the missing words from each statement. So let us read the whole paragraph orally. In blank is an article that presents one's blank on an issue. So what is it? The first one is, of course, editorial. Okay? An editorial is an article that presents one's opinion in an issue. That's it. Editorial writers build on an argument and try to blank readers to think the same way they do. What do they do? Persuade, yes. Editorials are meant to influence public opinion, promote critical thinking, and sometimes cause people to take action in an issue. So in essence, an editorial is an opinionated news story. It is important to know that there are parts of an editorial. Blank gives the lead explanation of the topic and may also include the answers for the WH questions. This is the first part of the editorial news. This is introduction, of course. The body presents your opposition, pull in other facts, and give your stand regarding the issue by supporting it with your reasons from strong to strongest order. And lastly, the blank is where you write possible solutions to the problems based from your own opinion, and that is conclusion. Okay? I hope you guys got these correctly. Okay, so this time you're going to select one topic from the given choices below. So you write an editorial about it. So we have the number 1 topic, to wear or not wear a face mask. Number 2 is vaccination, a yes or a no. And number 3, back to face-to-face schooling. So you will be given 10 minutes to do this. Okay, good luck, kids. Go. So this time, kids, let us communicate your personal assessment as indicated in the learner's assessment card. So this is the personal assessment on learner's level of performance. So using the symbols below, you're going to choose one which best describes your experience in working on each given task. Draw it in the column for level of performance and be guided by the descriptions below. So you're going to draw a star if you were able to perform the task without any difficulty and the task helped you in understanding the target content or lesson. Put a check mark if you were able to perform the task. It was quite challenging, but it still helped you in understanding the target content or lesson. And question mark if you weren't able to perform the task because it was extremely difficult and you need additional enrichment activities to be able to do it. Okay, so we have here learning task number 1, number 2, 3, 4, the simulation and the assessment. So thank you so much, kids. I hope you have learned something today. Bye!